Hi, everybody, and welcome to the CX Live Dialogues. I'm delighted to have with us today Vadim Galeev, a seasoned GTM and business development leader with 8 years in SaaS, scaling revenue engines, building high-performance teams, and closing global partnerships. With thousands of sales interactions and deep RevOps expertise, he believes the first 10,000 is harder than the first 1 million and consistently proves it. Vadim, it's a pleasure to have you with us today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Ayesha, for having me here today. It is a pleasure.
Now, clearly, we're in the midst of a lot of transformation happening within enterprises. What are the biggest data quality challenges that you believe organizations are facing today? And how does improving data integrity directly impact customer experience outcomes?
Oh, yeah, thanks for that question, Ayesha. Honestly, from my experience, throughout these years, I've learned one thing: that most of the organization, they face pretty much similar challenges. And like, for example, I'm myself as a salesperson, and what I realized is that your sales are as good as your data is, and getting the right data in the right time with the right signals is probably the most important, the crucial challenge that most of organizations are having today. So again, data quality, you can see it as a I would say a twofold problem. On the one hand, you just need to understand what kind of data you're looking for. And on the other hand, you need to make sure that this data is valid. It's because there is so much information going on. There is definitely, we are living in the age of data abundance. It's not something that is hard to find, but it's what is really hard to find is the valid and accurate data that would help you build your process, no matter what. It could be sales, like, for example, you're looking for lead data, and that's why we are building Scoremachine. Or that could be product data, data analytics. We are collecting so much information about our like all of the modern software products, collecting so much data about their users. But again, what kind of data would be really important to make sure that you are delivering the best possible customer experience? That is important. So yeah, that's in a nutshell. I know it was and it is a difficult question to identify the top data quality, data integrity challenges. But yes, validity, I would say validity and usability and applicability. These are the most important challenges that face organizations, in my opinion.
I think you're very right. And at the end of the day, it's about ensuring that the data you have and the quality of that data is going to help you get effective outcomes. How did you end up with this idea, and how does it affect the CX industry?
So the idea was pretty simple. For at least the last decade, I'm heavily involved in B2B and technology sales and software as a service sales. And I've seen myself how the whole GTM movement was established, became very popular, and now pretty much is a mainstream way to attract your leads, to bring in your leads. At the same time, the customer experience industry was there for ages, right? We have a lot of established BPO companies. We have a lot of customer engagement organizations, including call centers, for example. And there are a lot of rules and tools, like what you do, what you don't do, and there are a lot of tools. And what I realized is that there are a lot of tools in the telecom industry that both sales industry, like GTM industry, and customer experience CX industry are missing. And bringing those tools would actually would allow you to improve your flow, improve your services so much. And coming back to the first question that you asked, Ayusha, that will allow you to get more accurate, more valid data. And that's pretty much what I encountered myself. I was always wondering, as a salesperson, I was always wondering why, when you are sending an email campaign, you can always check those emails before you send those out. There are a lot of tools, a lot of fantastic tools available in the market. Uh, you can check whether that email is valid or invalid or some other like catch-all status, for example. But you are never able to do that unless to do that with the phone number, unless you call that person. And that was the challenge that I personally had. Like I had my own call agent teams, and the call agents there, they were spending their days calling the if that is just traditional sequential power dialing, calling up to 150 to 100 leads a day, and 97% of these calls are not getting connected. And I was not happy with that. I understood that this is normal. That's what you get when you're working with North American markets. But I was not particularly happy with that. And that's why I decided to set up to build this tool that is currently growing and helping CX industry.
Sounds wonderful. And clearly, the rise of this omni-channel experience is transforming customer interactions. How can businesses effectively integrate various channels to create a seamless and cohesive customer journey? And what role does technology play in achieving this integration?
Yes. So again, myself, I was sending both email campaigns, LinkedIn outreach, and there were obviously like cold calls, which is still the best method to get in touch with. In outbound sales, that was the best method to do it. But that totally applies to the whole CX industry. It doesn't matter whether you are handling the outbound communications or inbound communications. Right now, customer doesn't want you to to communicate through just one channel that you would prefer as a CX organization. The customer would prefer you to contact them where they are, where they are happy to receive that message, and at the time where they are happy to receive that message. And that's why the technology that I'm building, the end goal for the technology is to build a platform that would allow you to tell, to understand exactly where your customer is, what is the best channel, what is the best time to reach out to them, and ideally, what would be like, what are the topics that this customer would be interested in getting involved with. And at the same time, right now, there are also also a lot of compliance issues.
Indeed. And coming to the compliance side of things, given the extreme growth in CX due to AI and how it is becoming more accessible to everyone, how do you think compliance will evolve in the next few years?
Well, first of all, we see that a lot of AI development going on at the moment, and we see a lot of AI SDRs, AI call agents. So that's it's not something we can deny. It's already here. Yeah, maybe in some applications it's still not as good as a human being. Like I would never, at that moment yet, I would never substitute my SDR teams with an AI SDR. Unfortunately, the technology is not there, or maybe fortunately, because you know what, like we all are getting outreached, and when we are getting outreached by an AI, well, it's still very obvious as for me. I'm honestly, personally, I'm not even a big fan of those predictive dialing tools, because there is this lag, a little bit of a lag, that before you are actually gonna get connected to an agent, and on the other hand, an agent has not enough time to go through the intel, to go through the lead description. He or she will just get connected and will start talking, and it really does not allow you to adapt your script to that particular lead, to that particular personal client. But in inbound communications, I think AI is already there. Like whatever is needed there in terms of um, first line of customer experience, AI is definitely there. So as I said, yes, there are a lot of implications and a lot of compliance implications as well. More and more jurisdictions are currently passing the laws either prohibiting or explicitly marking or creating do not call lists. And customer experience organizations should do their best to make sure that the compliance is there. And that's one of the by the way, one of the features that we are going to announce very soon. And I hope at CX Summit we will be able to launch it officially. We are going to connect to do not call lists, and there are like 14, I would say globally there are 14 registries that are maintained on the national levels. I'm talking about the United States, I'm talking about Canada, I'm talking about the United Kingdom, India, UAE. So these countries, they have implemented the national do not call registries. And at Scoremachine, we also are going to provide that as a feature. So companies would be able, CX organizations would be able to use our service not only to check whether this lead is valid, whether this lead is actually reachable, but would also be able to understand whether they should call him or her from the legal perspective, whether they could get a fine for that. It obviously doesn't mean that it will be a turnkey solution to make sure that the compliance is there. You still need to make sure that you are following all the applicable legislation and the best practice with your outreach. But still, if the person is in do not call list, do not call him. So that's what we are planning to release on the compliance, and we understand that this is a huge challenge, and that would also apply to all the AI latest AI developments.
Clearly, a lot happening at your end, Vadim. Where do you see the CX industry moving forward in the next 5 years now?
That's right now. The progress is the speed of progress is so huge. It's really difficult to track. We see the rise and of AI communications. So that is 100% is going to be a mainstream technology in the next 5 years. That's definitely going to be a mainstream technology, no doubt about that. I also think that within the next 5 years, we'll see more and more regulation, especially with regard to that AI technology. And at the same time, I think that the nature of communication might change as well. We see the rise of new technologies, of some distant trends like AR, VR, or for example, neural interfaces. Something that we think is science fiction. In 5 years, with the acceleration of progress, we might actually see the first prototypes. So AI would definitely become a mainstream. There will be more and more enabling platforms. 100% the CX industry would be omni-channel. There's no doubt about it. Any communication platform should aim at covering not just traditional methods as a phone calls, SMS, or emails. Definitely, messaging apps should be included in the loop. Right now, we see a lot of WhatsApp messaging apps being integrated into call center, into communication platforms. So any CX organization should think about it right now. How AI going to affect their productivity? Because other companies, other CX operators, I would say, that are already implementing these tools, maybe they do not reap all the benefits, all the potential benefits that we at technological side are talking about. But at least they are getting on that road. They are getting that experience so far. So they are already ahead of the pack. So more and more companies should definitely think about the AI and how they are going to implement AI within their technology stack. Um, if you are a developer, you should think about what are other channels that we see people are using already, and we see that people start to use. I think that these two trends, multi-channel and AI, probably the two most important trends that affect the industry right now. And within 5 years, if you are not following, if you are not trying to get to get on board with these technologies, you will clearly you'll be losing this game. But the next 5 years, what we're going to see in the next 5 years, this is very, very difficult to predict.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. Thank you, Vadim. It's been a pleasure to have you join us today, and we look forward to meeting you at the Customer Experience Live show in Dubai in April. Until then, stay safe.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to see you all.